This episode is brought to you by May Precision Ag in Kiowa, Kansas. Be sure to contact Jerry May for all your Pioneer seed, grid soil sampling, and custom farming needs. Coaches Cantrell, how are you? Well, I ain't even going to ask you how you're doing. I'm just going to say this is the podcast I looked least forward to.
Yeah.
So one of the funnest, most enjoyable, other than the outcome, football games I've ever got to see was Friday night. And I know the score wasn't the way you wanted it, but I still go back to what a ball game.
Yeah.
Your boys were ready. They were ready. What's your thoughts?
Well, I just felt like it was a great game between two great teams. Both teams have good athletes that followed their game plan to a T. I can't really say what if they did, but we did, and I think two good coaching staffs had their teams ready to go. I mean, you know, it still stings for us the way not only losing but getting that close, and we can talk about that here after a while, but it's still stinging today. But I'll just start this thing off with saying how proud I am of the boys. I couldn't be any prouder of how the boys matured this year. And I've been saying it the last few podcasts, but I am dead serious. We weren't even the same team as when we started the season. Just maturity wise, we couldn't have handled that game, even last year or even beginning of this year. But the guys just focused and locked in here in the playoffs and followed our game plan to a T, especially defensively, and almost pulled off the upset of the number one team and the defending state champions at their place. And they haven't been pushed or anything in their house in about 3 years. And we had them on the ropes. We had them. But, when you get a team and you get players that play like that and they give you everything they got, I mean, there's nothing else you can ask for as a coach. That's just all you can ask for. So that's what I'm super proud of, and that we can build on it for the next years to come.
Yeah, that was. We should just hit record when you come in the room, because we say a lot of things before we actually hit record. But like we had talked earlier, it just felt like those boys just kept catching another level of competition and effort every week.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop out there. They just went to another level of playing, and really tickled, just really, really proud of our community that there's quite a few people drove 5 hours out there.
There was that thing. I don't know how many, but
the bleachers were full and people on the sideline.
More. I mean, there was a lot of people there, and I want to express my just thank you and for that, because I kind of got the chance to gather the community around before we left the field, those that hadn't left yet, and I was glad I got to do that. But man, that shows you that we just have one of the best fan bases and communities out there, that they would travel that far. I mean, that was a long ways. As far as miles, I was probably I'm pretty sure that was probably the furthest South Barber has ever had to travel in their history. I can't think of one that would be any, as far as miles, to be further.
You're probably right.
And
Sharon Springs, but
Sharon's right down the road. We've been there. Yeah. The other thing I said in the newsgram, and it'll come out in the newsgram, but I'm gonna say it here too, that I've been around for 31 years of South Barber football, and I felt like, as far as grittiness and a gut check and kids landing on the line, I felt like that was in the top 5 of our football history.
I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I really do. And I don't think I'll back off that statement. I mean, I felt like what they were up against, and the focus it took for those kids and keeping their heads in the game and things going against us. And we'll probably get into that, so several things going against us in the field conditions and all that to just, I want to stop short of saying staying in that game. Cause I felt like we did more than stay in that game. And
Well,
we
I
can
think
talk
you
about
did too.
that. And just to put ourselves in the position to win at the end. That was pretty good accomplishment.
You bet. I'm going to share a little story with you. And I hope anybody out in this community or outside this community that's involved with high school sports, I hope they listen to this because it was really neat. I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a bunch of us arrived about the same time. And the Weskan coach stood at the gate and fist bumped every one of us as we came through.
Yeah.
And said, "Welcome to Weskan. We're glad you're here, and we hope you have a good evening and a safe trip home." And just was as hospitable
Their
as
head
could
coach?
be. I don't know which one was head coach and which one was. There's only one of them there.
Yeah, it probably was. He's a good guy.
I know him. And I mean, he stood there until every one of us was through the gate. And then after the game, a lady runs out of the concession stand and catches us and tells us that her grade school teacher or something over in Cheyenne Wells when she was a kid was a Catlin from South Barber.
Really?
And how much she enjoyed her. And I can tell you, just interacting with some people, whether it's at the concession stand or in the parking lot or coming in or out, they were more hospitable than any high school I think I've ever been to a football game at.
Sure.
And I think the consensus was you could hear some of their folks getting in their vehicles when we was getting in ours, and it was like, what a ball game.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just kind of like what we talked earlier before we got on the air, as you couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, I got to step back sometimes, guys, and realize those are sometimes 15, 16, 17-year-old kids out there.
Yeah.
And what you said as far as a grid, I mean, they played their guts out, both sides.
Right.
And so as far as that environment, I know we've been to some places with South Barber. I know I've went and watched games where you've left there thinking, boy, they're about as classless as you can get. But that was quite the opposite with Weskan. I just left there thinking, good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I know their head coach pretty well now. I got to actually just met him, a couple of years ago, but got to coach with him this summer in an all-star game. Got to really know him, and he seems to be a really good guy. Everybody that I talk to about him, and when I'm around him. But Grant and I had a big conversation quite a while before the game with him. But I will say this, since we're talking about him, heck of a coach. He came up to me and we had a little exchange there, and we were just looking at each other like, same thing. We were just like, holy smokes, what a game, He patted me on the chest, and I don't know if everybody will understand this out there, but he said, he's like, I'd lose to you, meaning I'd lose to you in your program, because he had respect.
Yeah.
And I think, and I told him the same thing, some people, it really bothers you to lose to, because you're like,
yeah.
But
I can think of a few through the years.
Yeah. But when you face a program, they do the things the right way, and they got class. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and they made a few more plays than we did. So, but that got to me a little bit when he said that. That's the first time I've ever had a coach put it that way. And I really appreciate that. But that just shows where our program is, and it has been, but where this group of boys went to this year. I don't know if you'd asked me the first of the year after the first game, we were still letting a lot of stuff bother us, and even in the Eagles game in the middle of the season, still not there. If I'll just be quite honest with you, if we'd have showed up and played like we did in the Eagles game, we'd have not we'd got blown out.
We wouldn't have been there at the end.
Yeah. So, after I step back and look at it, yes, we can talk more about it here. We talk stats or whatever, but you just look back, you're like, oh man, we played good enough to win. We played more than good enough to win, but sometimes that happens, and you just got to use it as a learning point, a teaching point, a coaching point. So yeah, we'll have to put that back in our back of our memory as we get ready for in the off season stuff for next season.
Looking over their roster and obviously ours, me and Trent Humphrey talked all the way home, and it was like, this could be, depending on how the playoffs get laid out next year, we could see them again, possibly in a state championship match.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying there's not going to be some teams that step up that would be competitive, but I mean, South Barber's got a pile of kids coming back.
Yeah.
And looks like they got a pile of kids coming back, or at least their big stud.
It wouldn't be in the state championship. It'd be in the same one because we're both on the west side again next year.
Yeah, that's what we said, depending on how that's laid out. Well, that stinks.
Yeah. So, we talked a little bit about that, but
it would probably be at home.
Well, if everything, I hate to even talk about that kind of stuff because there's a lot of water to go under the bridge. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of water.
Give everybody some motivation to the off season.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like Grant said, if it was like this year and we both win our districts and win those first two games, it would reverse next year. I'm pretty sure it should.
It would.
Okay. And we would have them there, but that's a long ways away, but yeah.
So seeing the right kid in person, was he everything you thought off video?
Yeah.
Or was he more?
He looked faster, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk all week about we're not going to kick it to right. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And what do? The first kick, we kick it to right, and he takes it back. I mean,
we missed it. We didn't mean to.
We didn't mean to, and
we missed it.
That's a prime example of why we weren't going to do that. So,
well, Colorado did that to Notre Dame back about 1990.
Yes,
for a national title. Do not kick it to Rocket Ishmael.
Yeah,
kicks it right to him.
I felt like if he's one of those players. Every time you touch the ball, you like hold your breath. If you're on defense, and we did other than letting him get that kickoff return, we've done what we did defensively, what nobody has done yet to him. Sorry about that. Hit the mic. But we did to them defensively that nobody's been able to do this year.
Well, that was people that weren't at the game that watched it online said the announcers kept saying they've not seen a defense do that to Weskan or to Wright.
Right.
And I go back to, I thought he was an exceptional player. And what impressed me even more was you guys made it tough on him all night long, and he never quit.
No.
He was still trying to run hard, still trying to get out of tackles, and showed a lot. I
actually talked to him after the game a little bit, and he was kind of slow getting around. This was a little bit after the game, after they fed us, after we come out of the locker room, and he was hanging around. And I said, "You all right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm sore, you guys." I mean, he got hit. I mean, he knew he was in a ball game. So
they well, I've got my buddy that coaches a little NAIA college team that's had some really good success the last few years. And anytime I see somebody that I think might work for his program, I usually call him or we message, and he was familiar with Weskan from when he was in school and stuff. And I told him, I said, I don't know what that kid's going to do, after next year, but that kid could go play on a bunch of teams. It doesn't matter if it's a 6-man team or an 8-man team. That kid's he's pretty good hand.
Yeah. He, we just knew that we had to, on defense, we talked about it before last week, but we had to literally fit every gap, and we couldn't. And we had to trust the guy beside you, your teammate. That guy inside of me is going to do his job. I'm going to do my job. I can't. I got to quit using my hands so much.
You're good.
I cannot go over the top of him or try to make the play myself because I'm not trusting my teammate. And that's probably the most impressive thing that we did with our defense is everybody, all the kids bought into that. And, I didn't know, they're high school kids. So you can tell them, yeah, coach. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're going, like, what did we practice on, But they had to trust each other. And we talked about that all week, that we had to love each other. We had to trust each other. We had to be a team to, to beat this team. And dang it, we almost did.
Yeah. I'm just going to say,
Oh,
I
gosh.
don't care. I think the only thing that stopped South Barber is South Barber, period. They did some nice things, but
yes,
there was some. I've shared with you a gentleman that was standing next to me part of the game, and we just felt like it seemed like we put together a couple drives there where they did not have an answer.
No.
I mean, South Barber made it look really easy, and it's like, this thing's fixing to get out of hand in a hurry.
Yeah.
And then there's a mistake here or an untimely penalty, and I don't know how much you want to talk about that. I still don't have my voice from screaming at the officials Friday night, and this is Tuesday, just to clarify.
We had, don't know.
But there was just some stuff that came up that seemed it stopped us more than Weskan's defense ever did.
Well,
now, and even that last drive,
yeah,
that's a penalty that backs us up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
Well, it just shows you the margin for error is how razor thin it is, especially when you get two really good teams. I mean, I would agree with you. We eliminate even half of those mistakes, it's a completely different ballgame.
We had, well, I'll just say it. We had 397 yards of offense to their less than 200.
Yeah.
And we lost that game. But part of that's on us. We had 11 penalties for 90 yards. And we ended up with, and they had 6. But, and I looked back at the film. We did have some of those penalties, but some of them are like, but you're going to have that in these type of games. I just, we just, it was hard to take. When I did the stats, I called him the next day, and we kind of had the idea they might look like that. But after I put it on paper, I'm like, I told my wife, I told Jenny, I was like, okay, I'm sick. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this, but.
Did you feel like the field was more slick in the center than on the edges?
Yeah. Well, it was thinner in the center, obviously, from just the season. And, but yeah, I could tell when we walked out there, when we got there, it was probably going to be the slickest part. The middle was. The sides weren't bad.
No.
But yeah, you could tell right where the downs are played. That's the part that was going to be the slickest.
We told our guys, I mean, we went out and walked the field. We got there 2 hours before we went out and walked the field before we went in the locker room. And I was like, yeah, this right here, the middle. And then you could see it. Both teams. I mean,
I think we've seen worse fields though.
Oh yeah. I was worried about that. They had over an inch. I was like, what are we getting into,
But when you look at that, once you get there and you see it physically, does that, do you have to start adjusting your game plan any, or do you kind of have something already out that's going to fit regardless?
Not really. I mean, no, I don't adjust much. I'm trying to think what I would adjust offensively.
You say at that point, when you're that close to the game, it's do or die at that point,
it might have helped a little bit defensively with his cuts, but we were in the right places, even if he does. Who knows? I mean, it was the field conditions were the same for both teams, offensively and defensively. So you just had to adjust to it. So, yeah.
Any similarities with this game and the state championship game with St. Paul?
Well, I would say, I would say as far as, a little bit on like weather. Weather affected the game. Not that there was physical weather, but the weather that had been before. I think that the field affected the game. I'm not saying it did positively or negatively. I think it kind of evened things out a little bit. In that state championship game, if everybody remembers, the wind was howling out of the north. I mean, 40 plus. There was zero. You could not punt into it. We tried. You can't do it. And passing was really hard into it. So that really affected your strategy when you're going into the wind, with the wind. Matter of fact, we've always talked about that. I talked Coach Johnson into giving them the ball and the win in the third quarter, because I was like, if this is going to be a one-score game and you have to punt in the fourth quarter, we want the win behind them. It's going to affect. And he's like, I talked him in that, and it paid off. But
now, was that the St. Paul game or the Hope game?
Oh, that was Hope. I'm sorry. That was Hope, not St. Paul.
Sorry. You're mixing them up.
Wrong one. The one in 05, yeah. Now, St. Paul.
I'm thinking,
similarities would be
kind of the way that played out. But then there were some times I was watching their quarterback. He was gimping at the end of the game, and it reminded me a little bit of that St. Paul. That one kid from St. Paul would go get the play every time, and he'd barely make it back, and then all of a sudden, it's like he's fine during the play, and then he's gipping over to the sideline. I thought,
I don't know. I never thought about that. Yeah, I don't know.
It's probably similar ending.
Well, answer this riddle. Did we receive the opening kickoff?
Yes, we did.
I figured there'd be some
we
questions
received
about that.
The kickoff after halftime.
Yes.
Was that their strategy? Was the wind that bad down there?
No. They screwed up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When you have a captains go out there and you're going to defer, you need to say, we defer to the second half. You don't say, we want to kick the ball.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I told our captains that. I said, this is a lesson for you guys for, the
we
next
don't we don't defer a lot. We usually take the football. But I think we did once this year for some reason. But they didn't verbally communicate it right, because I was shocked as everybody else. The head ref come to me after it said, Coach, you're going to get the football, and go, I won't say what I said. I said,
I got a button.
I said, you're kidding me. That's what I said. I go, what? Because we're all ready to play defense. I said, we talked, we're going to have to stop this drive right here. And no, they said they wanted to kick. And I'm like, well, yeah, I want. I was like, heck yeah, I want the ball. And I think we drove. I think that first drive we went down, scored, took the lead.
That was when we took the lead, if I remember right.
Yeah, they made a mistake.
We were, we're in the bleachers, which is basically on the field there. I mean, for those that weren't there, the track is on the outside of the bleachers. I don't know if that's under construction or if that's their normal thing, but
that's where the track used to be.
Dirt, mud.
But, I'm thinking, it's not all that windy. And then you look at the flags across the way and they're not blowing. Man, some guys were going, well, I wonder if they think the wind's going to come up or something. Well, so there we go. They just made a mistake.
Yeah. It's happened.
Yeah.
I've been part of teams that you go out there and your captains are nervous and they say so yeah, if you get, if you're, like I said, you're deferring, you have to say, we defer. And then the other team has to accept to take the ball. You don't say, oh, we want to kick it to them.
Yeah.
You just chose to kick.
And then
twice.
Exactly. Yeah. You deferred, you made it the other team.
So I don't know if a lot of people realize, I know the people that played the game and got to go out for cap stuff realize that, but you gotta say it right.
That's awesome.
A lot of times the referee crews will come, and this crew didn't. They'll ask the head coach, say, hey, coach, just so we know, what are you wanting to do? Because sometimes, and maybe they won't do that on those big games, but sometimes they'll like, they know kids are nervous, and they'll be like, what, are you sure about that? You mean you wanted to, that's why they ask that kind of stuff. So they have an idea what the head coach is thinking.
Yeah. All right.
And the head ref asked, when I asked him, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, "No." I asked him, "Are you sure?" And they said,
That's a
"Yeah."
red flag.
Yeah, he said, "Yes, we want to kick. We want to kick." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay, wow, what a break!"
What did you think about the? I don't know how the best way to put it. My brain's still a little foggy.
Mm-hmm.
All the festivities and everything that they brought to the game.
Yeah.
Before you answer, I'm just going to throw this out, and I'm going to throw the turd in the punch bowl because I know some people weren't a fan of it.
Yeah.
On our side, I could hear Keisha being hollered and stuff. I thought, I don't give a flip. This is awesome. They are putting on I've not been to a small school football game like that where they put that effort in to, I think, obviously it's to pump their team up and their crowd up, but I felt like it was pumping us up too with the smoke and the lights and the horns. And now it felt like that first half, they might have been playing a little music a little too long when we had the ball.
Yeah,
but I think that got taken care of. But other than that, I thought, hell, let them do the smoke. Let them do the horn. Let them do the lights. It looks like it's helping us as much as it's helping them. And it just made for a great game environment, I thought.
Right.
Well, that's what I was just getting ready to say is that's what, I mean, the game is as big as it is, but I mean, that's what that environment's supposed to be. I mean, it shows that not only the players and the coaching staff of Weskan care, but that community cares.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they've got, I don't know what the population of Weskan is, but
not a lot,
under 300 probably. But
I'm going to say, I don't know where they came from. Because it wasn't from town.
No.
Yeah. But it shows you even in a town that with that size, what kind of, high school football playoff atmosphere that even a community that size can bring. So
well,
I was a huge fan of it. I thought it was, like you just said, I thought it got our kids fired up. It got, I think, the crowd fired up. It was like, all right, here we go. Let's get this thing going.
It's kind of interesting because I'd been warned about that, but people played there. So we had our kids we already talked about it. We had our kids kind of ready for that. I didn't know how we'd handle it. And our kids, when they did the light thing, if everybody that didn't see it, they turned their lights off and have like purple lights. And they had smoke and stuff, and they come out, and the announcer was, and our kids, I just turned around. Of course, Grant and I were prodding them, but our kids got fired up. So did our crowd. Got fired up. I don't know if they do. I'm sure they want to do it for a little bit of intimidation factor, but I think it worked opposite with our team.
I could see how, especially their opening when they come on the field to start the game, could intimidate a lot of programs. Not South Barber. I'm just going to make that clear, but it could intimidate a lot because I don't know how much you actually listen to their PA guy. Because I mean, you got other things on your mind.
Kind of, yeah.
But I mean, they open it with "Welcome to the 3-time state champion," and they go into big. I mean, they're letting you know we're good, and we've been good.
Yeah.
And I sat there. I was sitting there taking mental notes, going, "We can implement this at South Barber and make it even a tougher environment." I mean, I think we have a tough environment already.
Yeah,
but we could take it up a notch.
It's been discussed already. After that, but something interesting on the noisemakers and stuff. And there's been a lot of confusion about that. And I talked to the refs about this before the game. Not that I was griping and everything. I go, what is the rule, guys? Because it says on the occasion, people looked it up, that you're not supposed to have a cannon. You're not supposed to have noisemakers, and cowbells, stuff like that. That's what it says. The head referee told me, or not the head, one of the referees in that group told me, he goes, I know what exactly he said. And they had talked to the head of the referees in charge of all the referees in Kansas. And he told them, he goes, well, as long and it's fine as long as it's not being done during the actual play. And that gets pushed a little bit. And I don't have a problem with it, but when they do, like you said, and we had to do it at Ingles too, I had to tell the heifer, hey, they need to, because we're verbal. I call our plays out on our armband, and I'm like, I don't care if they're young, but quit the announce music or the announcer talking or the noisemakers. And that referee told me, he goes, yeah, we have got to get together. And I think there'll probably be a lot of requests for this. Acacia has got to clarify that. If that's the rule, they have to put it in writing that during when the ref chops it to be played, that stuff's got to stop. Because we didn't do it our second game here against Pawnee Heights.
No, we didn't.
Because it was on purpose because none of us really. We don't want to do anything to get in trouble, and I don't know what would really happen, but you don't want to do anything to get in trouble with Acacia. So it was just like, well, we better just not do it, and come to find out we probably could have, but they have to. And I'm sure a lot of the ADs and administrators will put that down and tell, or maybe it's coaches will too, just say, hey, Acacia, we need to clarify this rule right here for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or any time, but especially for the playoffs.
Yeah. It felt like some of their music was playing all the way up to where we were trying to get a snap at times.
Yeah.
That first half.
And that's a little bit, I
think that needs to go away.
I think they got on them a little bit for that. And I think they quit. They same thing in Ingles. The Ingles clear quit.
Yeah.
That night they didn't play anymore after they blew the whistle and warned them, because you can get a flag if they give you a warning. Then you can get a flag on your team if that keeps up.
Yeah.
So. Well, I know our athletic director and our superintendent were to the officials in a hurry.
Yeah.
Right at halftime.
Yeah.
Because some people's like, wow, look at that. And I'm like, well, they're probably addressing the music.
Yeah.
Which there again, I'm like, I don't mind it, but if it's playing up to the point where we got a kid trying to, get a cadence going.
Right.
And
is that what that was about? It was, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Because they weren't doing it on theirs.
Right.
It was just on us.
Yeah. I think that's what that was what it was
so
about.
So it makes you kind of go, yeah.
And that crew was good. I mean, they listen. I mean, sometimes you get to, they'll get mad at you. Not the good ones. If you do some concerns, it'll turn on you.
Yeah.
Not the good crews don't. Those all right, coach. Yeah, would they work with you? Because they know it's a passionate game. Us coaches are going to yell, and as long as we're not just cussing them out and stuff like that. I mean, I thought that crew, even though I wondered about some of their calls, I thought they were pretty good working with me.
Yeah.
I will say I did do a little griping. I thought I got a couple of calls. Got a couple,
Well,
I had to beg. I had to beg for them.
I can tell you, there's a handful of us missed the fair catch on that second kickoff that got returned.
I missed it, but my two assistants didn't.
I saw it as soon as and I said, I was like, I hope they don't. I told
I saw
Sklar,
you guys going.
I told Coach Sklar, I was like,
what's going on?
He fair caught that thing, or he tried, or he signaled to anyway.
Was it did the right kid?
No, it was the up back.
The up back. Yeah. Okay, that's what I wondered.
He waves his hand, he lets it go, picks that. You can't advance that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was hoping they caught that.
Yeah.
Well, what else you got?
Just that, like I said, I don't know if I said it earlier. I think I did. We held that right kid. I had him at 22 rushes for right at 100 yards. He had 400 yards last week.
Yeah.
That's a pretty dang good night, I've lost some sleep over the last few days about, and you can do this as a coach, about the last Syria down there. We got down inside the 5, and I go, God, why didn't I call? Why didn't I call this? Why didn't I do this? But I'm going to wear that for a year. But it's just it's hard. But I really want to, and I think it will. I think now that our kids played a championship style game.
Oh yeah.
Okay, at a championship level, we didn't come up on top. Now they know. Okay. Let's just go back, rewind to the year before. They're all freshmen and sophomores. We're rolling. We're playing pretty good. We go out to Golden Plains. They hit us in the mouth. They have the atmosphere, and we go, and then we had to bring it. We kind of got our stuff and came back when we ended up losing by 7. Okay, we weren't ready. I'll just tell you, we were not ready for that atmosphere. Okay. We go in, we play, and the first game of the year, which Cunningham's still playing, and very well could beat Weskan. Cunningham's very good. I haven't seen them on film since we played, but yeah, they're a very physical team. They could get it done Saturday, but I saw some of the stuff. I didn't think we were quite ready for that kind of game then. Then we go to Ingalls. And I already said this. I saw some kids, some stuff in some guys' eyes at halftime. I remember talking to Grant going, man, we better come out of this or we're not, and we hung around and we won it, found a way to win it.
And was down.
Yes.
Like going into the fourth.
Yeah.
Yes. And came back and won that. I think that was a turning point. And then we got, better. Then we get towards the playoffs. And I said, guys, if we want to get where we want to get, it's all about defense. It's all about, you guys score, but we do enough stuff. I felt like we're going to move the ball. We're going to score on people, I said, how much do you want to dedicate? Sorry.
You're good.
How much do you want to dedicate? How much do you want to lock in defensively? And we started practicing defense a lot more, and kind of honing in on defense. And I thought the kids did a really good job. And I thought we got a lot better defensively just from the start of the playoffs.
Let me ask you a question that may be somewhat uncomfortable.
Uh-oh.
So we can always edit it out.
Okay.
People will never know.
Yeah.
Talking to my old college buddy, or my old college coach buddy, he was asking about the game. He's always, you coached against him and his brother years ago, 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
And so he's always had he's always enjoyed South Barber football, watching them, not losing to them, but watching them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling him, kind of the weather that'd come through, the field conditions, the different, dynamics of the game. And then, we had some hiccups along the way.
Oh yeah.
There's no denying that. We had a few hiccups that cost us in some spots, had some untimely penalties. And he made the comment to me, I said, I told him, I said, even with all that, we're knocking on the door to win that sucker with like 30 seconds left in the game. And he made the comment, he said, those are the toughest things for a play caller when you're figuring in everything that's transpired through a game. Because a few of those weren't just isolated incidents. They happened over. It's like you have a hiccup and you get by it, you kind of forget about it. But when they've happened multiple times through the game, he goes, then you start running stuff through your head that you normally wouldn't have as a play caller.
Yeah.
Any truth in that with you?
Yes. Oh, most definitely. Another thing, I'm just going to say it too. We can cut it out if we want, but I don't know. I think people there at the game, I don't know if you can see it on film, but we had some guys that weren't 100%.
Yeah.
Cody wasn't 100%. Yep. He gave us everything. He didn't really practice all that much because his ankle was, and we kept it quiet.
Keeping that quiet.
We kept it quiet. His ankle was not as good as that we would like to, but he played more. Great. He played more snaps than I ever dreamed he would. He gave us everything, and who knows? But if we have him healthy on the 2-yard line,
I know.
He probably gets the ball.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you, he was on. He had no push off that thing. He was on one. We were talking about it on the sideline because I think I was like, do we give him the ball? And we're like, man, I don't know.
He didn't have that.
He didn't have that power.
That first burst to get.
And that's nothing on him. It's just is what it is.
Yeah.
So, things were getting tight. Things were getting tight. And
and I bring that up because
I'll be doing this for a whole. I'll be doing this for a whole year in my head. I'm going to be torturing myself for.
Well, I bring it up because who knows how many people actually knew how hurt Cody was.
Right.
I knew because off the air.
Yes.
Before, after the last one, we'd kind of talked about it. But, people would have seen him come over the sideline, got rewrapped pretty early in the game.
Yep.
But it's, you hear things and it's like, all right, listen, it ain't that tough. Here's where you're at. Just knock it down. But it's like, well, we've got some things against us right now. Got a kid that's one-legged. We've had some hiccups here and there, and it's, So I was just curious if you kind of felt a little bit of that as well.
Yeah. Yes. Sure. I mean, going back over the last three nights that I dream about it every night. It's done it every single night. My wife tells me I need to stop. I've dreamed about it, and I'm like, and I dream about what plays. If I had it again, I'm like, man, I wish I had tried that. I wish I had to draw that. There's a couple of them. I wish today I was thinking about. I was like, man, I wish I had drawn that up but it was something we'd never done before. I wish I had drawn that up over the timeout. I think that would have worked, but
it's easy to do now.
Yeah, easy to do. I'll do that till next year, but yeah, we had some things that we probably should have got. There was a play or two before that we were right there. If we make a cut this way instead of that way, we don't get tackled. We waltz into the end zone. I remember Grant was telling me we were getting down there. Grant's like, hey, we don't want to leave too much time on the,
time. Well, I got that fact.
But and I told him, I said, we're either going to win this thing or lose this thing. We're not giving the ball back.
Yeah. That was our, I told him, well, this is how heated conversation go. I said, I don't give a, I said, we're just going to score. We're going to score when we can score.
Yeah.
But unfortunately we weren't able to do that. But
that was a whole range of emotions on that last drive.
Oh yeah.
Because there's some time. And so as a spectator, you're going, all right, there's time, worth the clock. Then all of a sudden we're knocking on the door and it's kind of like,
oh, it's too early.
Oh, wait a second. Now what do we do?
With a kid like they have, and he's so dangerous.
Score at any moment.
Anytime.
That scares you big time.
Well, and then we would have had to kick off again.
Well, we'd onside.
Yeah. And I mean, that would have gave him a short field.
After the two he took back, when one was called back, I'm like, I don't care if we kick it 10 yards to the guy. We'll give him good field. I don't care. We're not going. Yep. He's not touching the ball.
My thought was you just
out of bounds.
That son of a gun as far as you can out of bounds.
Well, the problem is that
they had an up back that one of them short kicks we zinged it and he just caught it and I'm like, oh, good hands.
Well, the problem with that, because I thought about that, and the smart thing for them to do is just keep making us keep kicking it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'd have done. Yeah, you're going to do that. Move back 5.
We got
kick it
2
in,
kickers.
Back.
We can do this all night long.
But then we're kicking from our 5-yard line.
Oh yeah,
that's not.
Yeah, I didn't think that through.
Yeah,
that's why you're the head coach.
Yeah, but and I will say that, and that's something, and it's not one person. That's something. It's a goal of mine. Is I want to improve on our kicking game all the way around.
Boy, their kicker had a thunder leg.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
And so if anybody can bring in a foreign exchange kid that plays soccer and can boom it through the end zone, that's all he has to do is kick. We would love to do that, but that's something we really want to improve on. If we can't get stuff consistently in the end zone, we want to get better at placing and cover. That's what we're trying to do this year. One thing we really want to improve on.
Yep.
How much did you pucker up when Swanger threw it left-handed?
I was just getting ready to say with your range of emotions, talking about that last drive.
Was that on the last drive?
Yes, that was
on fourth down too,
yes,
right?
It was on fourth down, fourth and 10, really. 4th and 10. And I watched it back over, and I mean,
did you realize that at the time?
I thought it looked weird because I caught a glimpse of it because I was looking downfield and I caught a glimpse of it and I was like, well, that throw looked weird. But then Garen caught it, got a first down. Okay, whatever.
Head coach had no idea. And I watched the film again. I'm like,
oh, there's people. Well,
he just threw it.
I don't know how many actually picked it up watching it. They picked it up when the announcer
announced it. And the announcers on the
TV broadcast said he just threw that thing left-handed like Patrick Mahomes or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I want to say I'm surprised, but
You're not.
I'm not. He does that sometimes in practice.
You've
Just
probably
for
watched that
fun.
since him and your little brother.
Well,
were
yeah, I know. Well,
doing it in the front yard.
He's such a good athlete that I mean, he continues to amaze.
He does that in practice sometimes, and the old grouchy head coach like, quit doing that.
Yeah,
during practice. But then you're like, well,
I was going to say
it's not getting a big. It's not getting a habit. It's like we talked about 2 weeks ago when we didn't have any of those, but like we get wrapped up and we find somebody and it's like, okay, that's good, but I don't know.
I mean,
it makes me nervous.
I mean, maybe he wouldn't have done it though if it wasn't fourth down. I mean, that's just a kid just trying to make a play,
you had to make a play,
and that's
a competitor.
And that's and he made a great play.
Well, and he made another one earlier in the game to save a big lot. We had a bad snap, and he went back to inside the 5, and he had wrapped up, and he shoveled past it to somebody. It wasn't complete, thank goodness, but it saved us yardage,
20 yards.
And he did that left-handed too. I mean, just to have the awareness of where is my nearest receiver, so if this isn't a grounding,
But he wasn't around for that USC Texas game for the national title when Reggie Bush out of nowhere tries to do that lateral deal and it didn't work.
Didn't work out. I remember that one. No, but I mean, there was plays like that that you don't coach. You can't coach. You just. That's just athletes being athletes,
So I thought we was going to wrap this up, but I got a couple more questions.
Sure.
And just personal observation, meeting a couple guys and some people, how valuable was it was a limited number of plays, but how valuable was, they call him Zap Clausing?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they call him Zap or Zaff?
Zap.
His name's Zapfire, but everybody calls him Zap.
Okay. Seemed like, he got in a little bit.
Yes.
But when he was in there, it felt like he was really effective
on
the defensive line.
He did a great job. We use him against teams that are double tight, whatever you want, and trying to run the football on us. It gives us a little bit more beef inside, and not every team we get to use him, but this, and he did a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like they missed a holding call on them holding him.
Yeah, there was that one time I felt like they missed 2 holding calls. The first guy that he got away from, and then the second guy
I think it's the same play
on their sideline.
And if you look at the replay of the game, I am jumping up and down and running down because they'd already called 5 holding. That's not. Never mind. Let's not go.
They'd already called 5 on us. I'll say it. You don't have to.
Okay. I don't get fined like this in the college. Get fined.
You have no. I mean, see, we're not playing anymore until next year. So.
Yeah.
But, and then another personal observation, and I appreciate it because of his competitiveness. On the flip side, I'm like, be careful. Also, it felt like Swanger ran with a purpose when he ran, and there was a few times that he initiated the contact, and I'm like, be careful.
You sound like me.
Well, and him and Garen both. I mean, they weigh $160 maybe.
No,
but maybe not. But
hopefully by next year.
But they run. But they act like they're 190, 185.
Well, they act like they got the genetics that like their brothers or their parents had. That's what they act like.
Which that's just. And I love I personally love the physicality, but with Garen's sake, I love the physicality. But when you just said, Austin, when he does it, I'm like, it makes me cringe. I just watch him, make sure he gets up, and I'm like, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
And I bring this up because we talked about the circumstances of the game. We've talked all year that you got 5 guys that can go out for a pass and we can trust them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the other guy that's been utilized as a quarterback, in my opinion, was one-legged Friday night. And so if Austin goes down, now you're dependent on a guy that is
the only thing I'd say about that, you got to throw those concerns out the window in a game like that.
Yeah.
If we were in the middle of the season, I would probably say, hey, chill out.
Yeah.
Run out of bounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I admit I loved it. I was like,
but when you get in a game like that, it's just like
it's going to be what it's going to be.
Yep. Yeah, and it's going to be what it's going to be. See, because you got to go get it. So But yeah, I mean, I totally understand what you're talking about. It's I think, we talk about, I don't know how you wanted to end this podcast, but you talk about next year. And I think I said it, I'm kind of taking the thunder out of the Newsgram articles coming out, but,
Yeah. We just look at the police blotter.
But you see,
land transactions
Yeah.
and sheriff's reports.
well, you see, everybody's going to, and I've already heard it. And it's kind of cool. I mean, everybody's already ready. Everybody's already excited about next year. And I am too, but I do want everybody to realize, and I think they do, that this team and this season needs to be celebrated because
absolutely.
they took that next step.
Yep.
Matured greatly. Now they're set up. As long as we keep working in the off season, we've been there. We know what it takes. God forbid we stay healthy. Okay. And we could have a big, big year next year, next 2 years. I think, I think, some of these younger guys are getting better and better. So, but this year was a really special year. It was great. I just got a text from Coach Johnson, and he said, "Hey, I know that didn't end the way you wanted to end, but you guys, congratulating us for." I think he watched it, and he said that you guys really came a long way this year.
They have been very enjoyable to follow.
Yeah, I wish we would have been able to get there and let everybody take a trip to Greensburg this week. But hey, let's do it next year.
That's right,
man. I had told my buddy at the radio station, because he was asking about what happens if we win. I said, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I said, it's going to be just down the road, so might as well just plan on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's been an interesting week for me because I've gotten phone calls from both head coaches that are both playing each other about, hey,
now,
picking my brain on both teams. And
now you making any money on this?
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
just a little NIL thing.
There you go.
Now we got our flags and our smoke covered.
There you go.
No, but I've gotten phone calls from both of them, and I've talked to both of them. But I think it's going to be a really good game. I really do.
And that is Saturday, right?
Yep.
Saturday at 3.
Yep.
There's 3 games.
It's a game in the middle.
It's a game in the middle.
Division 2's first this year.
2?
8-man is.
Is that 11?
Because Coldwater plays in the evening.
Yeah, 6. And then 6 o'clock. 3 o'clock is the 6-man game. And then the 7 o'clock at night.
7 o'clock.
Yeah. It's, South Central plays.
Might be
Lincoln.
a little chilly.
Now,
it will be.
Who are they playing?
Lincoln.
They're playing Lincoln.
Who I think Lincoln had never won a playoff game till this year, right?
Yeah.
We're in very.
They're very. If they had it, maybe one.
They're in unfamiliar territory. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
and then is it Hanover? Hanover upset Axtell.
Yeah, Hanover
twice.
Yep.
Hanover and Victoria.
Victoria
I guess
went
you
back.
can't say they upset them. They beat them. Twice.
Hanover and Victoria in D2.
Yeah. Victoria made easy work of Hodgman County.
They did.
That was kind of a little bit surprising.
I wouldn't really, because I think Victoria had beat them earlier in the year, but I think by 10.
Yeah, it's a lot closer.
38 to 28 or 30 to 20, something like that.
Right.
And they just.
I think 8-man people probably be wanting closer game. Last year, both 8-man games were terrible. They're both 45s, and then they had the gym in the middle, which is 6-man. It was a 1-point game.
Yeah.
I wonder if it might be the same way this year or not. I don't know.
Guess we'll see.
Well, I laughed because we were processing cattle Saturday afternoon, and one of the people we was processing cattle with said, well, they said Cunningham got all they wanted last night. And I said, I guess if you consider 44 to nothing all they wanted.
Really?
Yeah. I had to tell you off the air who was giving that sports report from the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Well, it was secondhand, and that guy says, I knew better than to trust him. I said, yeah, you did.
So you must not have looked at the score.
Oh, okay. He had the wrong score, huh?
Yeah.
Must have looked at our score.
Anything else?
No, like you said, it's a great year. Great year. Really looking forward to next year and carrying this momentum into it. And I think the kids are too. Obviously, we got we got a couple more sports to play first, and I think we can taking this not only this momentum into next football season, but into basketball and track and tennis and whatever sport they decide to play. But in
the weight room,
and I think this will be, like he said, God willing, stay healthy, and I think we're set up for South Barber to have a pretty dang good, not only football season, but athletic season next year.
And I think that's a good point, Grant.
Yeah.
Those young men that played Friday night need to realize that same mindset, effort, all of that preparation can be parlayed into basketball. Can be utilized in every area of their life. Because that buddy of mine that coaches that little NAIA team, he told me, he will not recruit a kid with less than a 3-point grade average.
Yeah.
He wants smaller school kids that have work ethic and good grades. Because he said, anybody can recruit an athlete and then they'll leave you the next year for a paycheck.
Right.
He's built that program.
Well,
and I say build, I mean, they had won 7 games in 4 years before he got there. And they was 8-3 last year, 9-2 this year.
Right.
And it's all on recruiting just good, hardworking young men. And these boys can parlay that right into basketball season, because we've got more kids this year for basketball than we had last year.
Right.
Yeah. And I want to end with saying something. We can cut it out if you want, but
you bet. I got something also that we may have to cut out after you get done.
Uh-oh.
I've been saving it.
Oh no. No. And I said it to everybody that was at the game as a community, and I really felt it. I'm not going to get choked up like I did there, but I said, the community going out and being tight and cheering those boys on Friday night. There was times that second half that we were louder than their home crowd. The kids felt it. I felt it.
Yep.
It was amazing. And I want to thank you and congratulate everybody for that. Everybody needs to realize that what your bond as a community and everybody on the same page, even though you may not agree with people, okay, or you don't even like another person, and I'm talking grown-ups here, okay, parents and other people, we need to be able to get if we want the best for our kids, and I'm coming from a sports side because that's what I'm involved with. Everybody's got to be tight knit. Everybody's got to be on the same page. And when that happens, and it happened this year in football, okay, good things can happen.
Yep.
And when we're apart and we're fighting about this and that type of stuff, okay, I've seen it here sometimes, and I've seen it in other communities. Okay, trust me, that affects the sports team.
Yep.
It really does.
It affects everything.
Yeah. So what we had this year and what I hope continues the rest of the year is fantastic. And it makes me excited.
Absolutely.
And I want to keep that going, but I wanted to put that out there coming from me. And I think I told everybody at the game that, and I think everybody understands what I'm talking about. Cause I want everybody to know that Coach and I and all the coaching staff, we're going to coach those kids as hard as we can. And trust me, nobody wants to win any worse than me. And I'm going to do everything I can, preparation wise, coaching your kids, to get us to that point,
Yep.
And you got to have it all. And I've told parents this at our preseason meetings. I'll probably say it at our basketball preseason meeting. We got to be together. We got on the same page. You have a disagreement. If you got a disagreement with me, let's talk it out. Let's not go out there and on Facebook or whatever and just all of a sudden fly off the handle and write things down. So that was neat to see, and I'm really proud of everybody, and it makes me excited for the rest of the year.
Well, and one thing I kind of piggybacking off you, one thing I always tell the team, I've told them all year, not only going into big games, but just, I don't want to say not as big games, because I think every game's a big game in my opinion, but we're one heartbeat as a team.
Yep.
I say that all the time. I've said it when we do our little chant for the game. I say it before we go out on the field. I say it before we get in. sometimes even practice, I say we are one heartbeat, and you know that extends to the community as well. So I hope, you know, I hope we keep building on that. And we do. We're gonna really like what we see.
Yeah,
as far as a team and a community.
Yeah.
Did you cross or did you get to 90 wins this year? Do we know?
Because Keisha recognized wins. Yes.
Yes.
So yes, I think he's at 90. Well, technically 91, but if you would count the one last year, so yeah.
Well, let me tell
91 and what?
91 and 25. So
let me tell you, congratulations, my friend.
Well, thanks.
And I also want to add, let us not ever forget some almost cussed. There were some people that almost didn't let this happen.
Yeah.
And I hope they watch this, and I hope they'll swallow their pride and realize how fun a ride this has been.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have strung together some excellent seasons, not only as an assistant coach, but now as the head coach. And a lot of communities don't get to experience what we get to experience here at South Barber. So I just want to bring it up to those knotheads that might watch this, because there's one of them in our community still that you didn't get it done, and I'm glad you didn't. And I'm glad you're our coach, because I don't think people realize how much you sacrifice for our young people in this community. I mean, you sacrifice a farm and a ranch a lot, which is your lifestyle. You're not a paid teacher. And there's a lot of people wish they had what South Barber has.
Well, and it isn't me. I mean, it's you know, I've had great kids and great support. And I always said, I don't mind those sacrifices as long as I got kids that work hard for me. And I always have. I mean, the minute I don't, I'll be done, you know, but yeah, the kids have always been, in our community. It's been a great place to coach. And we want to keep it going.
That's right.
You bet. Well, guys, congratulations on a great season. And yes, the other season starts here pretty quick.
Yeah, it does. Next week.
That's the luxury of having a good football program.
Yep. You got to switch gears pretty quick. So,
all right. Have a good rest of the week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And thanks for all
You
that
too.
you did this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.